We are back, and we are back with a bang, Sam.
My playing days, Sheffield United, I know, are done.
He's the manager.
Yeah.
So why does he let the board let you go then?
Yeah, and I said, stick that in your documentary. Stick that in your documentary's we just don't seem to get on. He doesn't like me, I'm not that bothered about him. I did say to him, well, if you've got the authority, show it and tell him that you want your captain here. But
What's your take on the Aaron Ramsdale situation?
I think he's been done over at Arsenal. He says, when you're on your game, you're doing really well for the team, blah, blah, blah. When you're like this, you're just a fat lad from Sheffield.
Hey, thanks for joining us for another episode of No Tippy Tappy Football, brought to you by William Hill. Sam, have you had a nice international break?
Have a nice international break. Yeah, not too bad. I think that obviously watching the international games, congratulations. I mean, we knew England were getting through anyway, but they did it without getting beaten throughout the qualifiers, which is about right for England. They're always very good in the qualifying rounds, of course, and Scotland, of course. Congratulations to them. And I was keeping an eye out for Wales, hoping that they would get through, but I think they get to playoff now, maybe.
Yep.
So maybe they might be another one. I'm all for like the British Isles. You know, I know there's this rivalry and people seem to hate each other, but for me, the more the merrier. If they get into the Euros, you know what I mean. The more interested in when you can watch it, especially if they come across each other in the tournament. You know, so yeah, it was interesting watching. And of course, Gareth getting a bit stick again because he didn't play quite as well as everybody expected, which is the norm for everybody out there. Like, you know, but you know, changed the team around, trying a few new players. You know, it's still on a great run.
So we missed a week because of the international break, but we are back, and we are back with a bang, Sam. So would you like to introduce your guest for today?
Yes, he got a fantastic career, particularly at Sheffield United. And, of course, he's known for his magnificent goal-scoring ability. So, Billy, welcome to No Tippy Tappy Football. It's great to have you.
Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
Billy Sharp, thank you so much. We always start. First question is always, how do you know Sam? Have your paths crossed? You must have.
Yeah, quite a few times. Sam's teams are always tough opposition. You know, they're going to come and give you a tough time. No nonsense, well organised, and like I say, had some good games over the years, and it's nice to see him looking well.
He talked about the last one before, because the last one before there was no fans, and it was West Brom versus Sheffield United, both of us struggling at the bottom of the Premier League.
Yeah.
And they got a lucky 2-1 win.
Did you score?
I did. I managed to score.
He scored,
the winner.
of course. Yeah.
But outside of the right boot, and like I said, no fans, which wasn't great. It was nice to score in the Premier League and get the winner, but it was a tough time, I'm sure, for managers. Didn't enjoy it, and players didn't either, because you could hear your managers a lot more when there was no fans in the stadium, so you couldn't pretend to ignore them.
I remember being in there with work when it was just you were just allowed 300 people in the stadium, and you could hear everything, and I was worried about like sneezing or like dropping a pen or anything, because everything just echoed. But you scored. He scored against your team.
He did, yes,
that?
he did. And we went 1-0 up, by the way. That was you know, that was a big downer for me, like, I mean. And then Ramsdale made this wonder save from 6 yards out. And we looked a certain goal, and we were all up off the bench, like, I mean. And he just managed to pull this worldie off, like, I mean. So yeah, it was a bitter moment. West Brom was a real problem, because when we played teams in and around where we were, for some reason, we couldn't produce our best form. We were not hitting the numbers we knew we could hit, because, you know, we beat Chelsea 5-2 away. We drawn with Man City away. We drew with Liverpool away. You know what I mean?
We couldn't beat anyone.
You know what I mean? So,
but yeah, when it
come to the Fulhams and when it comes to the Sheffield Uniteds, they couldn't raise their own game to, and they're the most important games. You're at the bottom. You got to finish the top of that bottom 8 league, and if you in results terms, and you stay up, like you mean, because anything against the big boys is an added bonus. But we couldn't motivate. Lads couldn't get there. So as Billy said, COVID, it was dreadful. It was not one bit of it was enjoyable.
No.
You know, it's hard enough battling their way down the bottom, but with COVID as well, it was particularly depressing, I think, at the time.
So that was 2 or 3 years ago now, and so much has happened since then. So for you, Billy, you left Sheffield United and you went across the pond to Hollywood. That makes it sound like you went to be an actor or
by the way-
something.
Not a bad move, that, is it? Eh?
I didn't leave. They got rid of me.
All right.
Okay, let's start there then. What happened?
Well, my contract came to an end, which obviously happens, and I wanted to stay. Obviously, captain of the club, just got promoted to the Premier League for the second time with Sheffield United, so knew that probably I'd only be a bit part player. But as Sam knows, you know, even when your captain's not playing, you've got a job to do. And I felt as though I could give a lot back to new players that came in who didn't know the culture of the club, or you know, just.
So how did the manager tell you that?
To be honest, Hecky wanted to keep me as well. I think it
Are you sure?
I'm 99%
sure?
sure.
Are you sure?
Well,
Because this is why I've gone there.
yeah.
Because, like, you know, after the time you've known him and the relationship you've had with him and what you've achieved together,
Yeah.
he's the manager.
Yeah.
So why does he let the board let you go then?
So
When you score goals, even though you're prepared to be if you like a squad player, still captain, come on as sub and score like you did against West Brom, and all the experience you've got, I just can't understand why the manager would allow it, you know, or a manager's just too soft now, they can't stand up to the board these days.
I did say that to him in a meeting, because I got told verbally 3 times, you know, we want you here, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, no worries about lifting my contract wages. Didn't want that, just wanted to be there, part of it. The club that I love and support. And yeah, I said this. I said, you've told me 3 times now I'm getting the contract, and didn't get to sign it. And obviously the blame was all from above. And yeah, I did say to him, well, if you've got the authority, show it and tell him that you want your captain here. But I think it's a case of, like Sam just said, the people above at the minute they didn't want me there. So it was a sad time. It hurt, and it took me a while to get over it. And some parts of me obviously still want to be out there on the pitch for Sheffield United. But I moved across the pond, like you say, and I had a great time there. But again, I got told things that I was going to be there next season for another 12 months. I went there and scored 6 goals in 9 starts, which I thought I deserved another crack at another season there. I went there to try and to win, score goals, do my job, and I felt I did that. And again, the manager sat me around his table in his office, and I said to him, "Look,
Who's the manager, if you don't mind me asking?"
Greg Vanny. So he played for the Galaxy as well. And yeah, he told me that he wanted me there for over an hour. This meeting went on for. I want you there for the next 12 months. I was like, brilliant. Look, if it is a no, tell me, because I've been led down the line a few months before this, and I've got the family. I just want to get sorted. And he said, no, I want you here. You're not going to play as much, like I heard before, because I'm going to bring a DP striker in, which I understood. I was like, no, that's fine. I'm happy to commit, come with the family, get them in school. And my agent got a call. I didn't hear from the manager. Still haven't heard from the manager, which that's the most disappointing thing. I can accept, I can take it on the chin, you know, things that you don't want to hear. But when you hear it from someone else and then you still can't find the answer why is disappointing. But the fans were great, all the players were great, and I had a good time there and a great experience for me and the family.
I want to get into the kind of American soccer football out there in a minute, but this is so interesting. And
Loyalty.
Yes, Sam.
Natalie,
what's your
there is
take
none.
on this? Yeah,
there is none. There never has been. You know, I mean, you know, a manager moves or a player leaves when he decides to leave. He's not loyal. He's a turncoat. He's a traitor. He's this or he's that or he's, you know, whatever it might be. But then when it's in reverse, it just goes almost under the carpet. There's never the same reaction. But most of the time, the player never comes out, or you as a manager never comes out and actually tells the whole truth. Because if you're a player, you've had a long time at the contract, you don't want to tarnish your reputation a little bit by saying you're a bit awkward or a bit of a troublemaker. And if you're a manager, you've signed a confidentiality agreement when you've left. So you can't really tell the whole truth, like you mean. But there is no loyalty in football either side. It's ruthless. It cutthroat, and you will get your legs cut off as quick, whether you manage your player or wherever it is, anywhere and everywhere you might be. And I think that as long as you know that as a player or as a manager or as a coach, then you actually deal with it. So I always say it happened to me at Blackpool early in my career, and I wondered where the next job would come from. I finished losing in the playoffs at Blackpool, and 2 days later, I got sacked. And you're stunned. You're thinking, well, I've taken them from bottom six, and in the first year finished mid-table. Second year we just missed out in the playoffs. Finished third, got in the playoffs, lost in the playoffs, and then you're sacked, like you mean. So my time then was always, I will only be loyal to myself and my family from there on.
What about your players that you had that you let go? Would you always have an honest conversation with them?
I would. I tried, not always successful. I tried to have as honest conversation as you possibly could with the player, and my responsibility was to turn round to the player and say, "We're not giving you a new contract."
Yeah, things happen, things
You know
change,
what I mean? And that's I mean, when you're telling Yuri Yorker if you're not having a new contract, and he tells you, "Well, why are you not giving me a new contract?"
Did you have a reason for him?
You know what I mean? I just said, I think, that you never lose the ability, Yuri, but the physical aspect of the Premier League now means that, and I don't want you to be a squad player. I see it more as like you'd be in the squad and I'd be bringing you on, like you mean. And he would never admit to that, rightly so, because this man's proud and he thinks he's still 100% fit and he's still capable. But your eye is telling you that he's not quite as effective as he was. He stayed for 3 years with us, like you mean, absolutely magnificent, super guy. But you're telling a World Cup winner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A Euro winner. So it's not an easy task to be actually doing that. But it's your responsibility not to shirk it and go to his agent or get somebody else. I think it's your responsibility. But I think that
you didn't tell him, yeah, you're going to get something, and then 2 weeks down the line say,
no.
"Oh, sorry, tell your agent."
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I try to avoid that. There is another scenario where sometimes players don't like the truth because it hurts too much.
Yeah.
So you tell part of the truth, but not all of it. Because everybody say, just tell me the truth. And then so if you wham them between the eyes and they go back and go like that and you go, they never expected that. And that's far too much for them to take. So you have to be.
I've always just wanted the truth. And sometimes, yeah, it does hurt, but at least you've not been led down the line. That's all. And I've been told the truth many times by a lot of people, and it's how you come back and react from it. But when you're 37... And
give us an example of the truth being told then. Go on, that's a good story.
Southampton.
Right. Who told you that?
So I just got there. We got promoted to the Premier League.
Yeah.
Nigel Adkins told me, he signed me. He was like, look, you're not going to play much, so I'm going to have to get you out because I want to bring someone else in. I was like, okay, that's fine. But I have got 3 years left, so, I'm not in no rush to get out. I took a good loan move to Nottingham Forest, great club, and I enjoyed my time there, even though there was 3 managers while I were on loan. And then when I actually went back after that loan spell, Nigel Adkins had gone, and it was Pochettino. Didn't speak a word of English, apparently, at the time. Knocked on his door many times. Can I just train? I know I'm not in your plans, just train. Couldn't train with the first team. And that's where my career was a bit...
So he made his mind up with that, actually.
Yeah. But some managers do that anyway.
Yeah.
But that was fine. He told me, he said, I don't speak English. Well, someone else told me, look, he's not going to have a meeting with you, doesn't speak English, but you're not in his plans. I was like, okay, that's fine. Train with the Joeys, if you like. There's like 5 or 6 of us.
The Joeys.
Ended up going to...
I've not heard that one before. A lot of places, it's the Stiffs.
Yeah, Stiffs. Used to be the Stiffs. No, it's the Joeys.
The Stiffs.
Then I went to Reading on loan. Got injured there, not a great time. So that was a tough time when someone told you you're not good enough as you just got to the Premier League, just made your debut against Man City away, and your Premier League dreams get shattered then. But managed to play there and score there and cut on a couple of occasions, obviously with Sheffield United. So that part of the career was, like Sam says, was tough because you got told you're not good enough, basically. So you have to go roll your sleeves up and go and fight it out and make something else happen.
How'd you go on with the adjustment to styles? Really, because like your 2 up front must have been your ideal situation, and that slipped away, or am I?
No, do you know what?
I had this when I went to Sunderland. When I went to Sunderland, we had Jermaine Defoe.
Yeah.
And all the staff there said, Sam, Jermaine Defoe won't play up front on his own. So I thought, oh, well, why is that? Like, I mean, so well, they've tried him on the right, tried him on the left, but he doesn't like playing up front on his own, like you mean. So, and I could understand that, you know what I mean? But I was looking at everybody else we had, and you know, there were none of them was anywhere near as good as Jermaine.
Yeah.
So I asked him. So I said, I believe you don't like playing up front on your own. Who told you that? He said, well, everybody. He said, play me up front on my own if you want. It's up to you, he said, but, you know, you can't play off me. I said, well, that's okay. You don't have to play off you. We just want to score the goals we can score. So we changed our style that we would play through midfield out in the wide areas, get the ball in the box. And, you know, we weren't going to play, even playing holding up. That wasn't Jermaine. Jermaine was, we're going to play Jermaine in behind down the side because he makes the run before the ball's played, or we're going to get the ball in the box, and he scored 18, kept us up, like I mean. So, but he always preferred to play with another striker if he could. And were you like that?
No, I played up front on my own at Doncaster, where I had 2 either side of me. Right, really enjoyed it. I'm not the quickest, but my movement's pretty good. I like to take the ball in, lay it off, and go and get in the box, like Sam says, and go and get the goals. I think people just thought little and large, that's what it used to be, strike,
smash and grab,
partnership. But then when that happens and they're just hitting it long to all I'm doing is gambling, going on the flick-ons and stuff like that. So, no, I just like to play football, and if I'm in a 2 or up front on my own, I don't mind. And done both over my career, so, and luckily I've managed to score the goals. So I think, like Sam says, Jermaine Defoe is a perfect example. Not saying I'm like Jermaine Defoe, but I watched a lot of clips of Jermaine Defoe because his movement was great, getting in behind, anticipating and being in the right place at the right time, just making one movement to then take the defender the other way, which he was very good at, and he was an ultimate goal scorer.
What's your relationship with Paul Heckingbottom like now? Have you spoken to him since you left?
Yeah, I spoke to him a few days ago.
Come back.
What was that conversation?
No, again, he said, look, listen, I'd love to have you back, but that's not an option. Don't know why, but no, listen, that's gone.
That's a bit.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, I asked to go in and train just to keep my fitness up for the next move that hopefully I make soon. Because you can't replicate, football training every day. I can do all the running and sprinting I want, but training with the lads is.
Have you watched Sheffield United?
I have. I used to wake up 7 a.m. the time in America to watch the games, and my kids with me as well. And
they're trying to hang in there, aren't they?
Yeah. They've given it a good go. I still think it's 3 from 4, even.
Well, all the 3 that came up this year, unfortunately,
Yeah.
In spending terms, are the weakest three because they haven't. All three of them, Burnley, Sheffield United, Luton, haven't spent, in my opinion, the sort of money that will give them a better chance to succeed in the Premier League. Because whatever anybody says, first year is the hardest year. When everybody goes on about second year syndrome, that's not true. The hardest year is always the first year. The second year does actually get percentage-wise get slightly better. You get past year two, and the jump between percentages of staying up 3 years in reduces massively.
It's funny you say that.
Depending on how you build, like you mean. So, but obviously with Chris, it was second year syndrome, like you mean. So
we spent 100 million.
Yeah.
The first season, obviously, we stuck with the core and we finished 9th. So,
but he was right not to keep the core, because if you don't move on, you don't succeed. But it's got to be the players you bought was the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So it's the wrong choice of player to make you better when you spent 100 million. Nothing other than that. Because you would have got, if you'd have bought the right players for 100 million, they would have been better than the players they were replacing.
Yeah, if you're spending 100 million, you've got to bring the players in to be better than the ones that are there. And then the ones that are there, hold their hand up and go, thanks a lot, lads, you've kept us in the league and you deserve to be playing ahead of us because you're better than us. And that's why you get paid the more money.
But I always know Chris's big fight was getting the players he wanted. Because I know him really well, like you mean, saying like, you know, my job is so difficult to get the player I want rather than the players that their board or their director of football wants. And in the end, you compromise because otherwise you won't get a player.
Yeah, get a player.
So I'm not so sure how many of the players he got that he actually wanted that would make Sheffield United better, of course.
The Sheffield United fans listening to this are going to find this fascinating, like everything you've said so far. Pretty much every question they're going to want me to immediately ask you. And we always ask our listeners for questions, and our listeners can always ask a question. It's best to just tweet me. And I'd say 95% of the questions that came in this week, which I feel like you've probably already answered. Like, so Billy Drew, if I'm going to pick out one person that asked it, are you going back to Sheffield United? But it feels like you've already answered that.
Yeah, I won't be going back as a player, even though I'd love to. My wife would hate me if I did. She wouldn't want me to go back for the way
they treated you.
Yeah. But
my wife's like that.
I'm a Sheffield United through and through, and if they needed me, then I'd be there whenever they wanted me. So, but yeah, that's not going to happen. I just wanted to go in and train, keep my fitness up, ready to go again when
they won't let you do that.
I'm still waiting to hear back, but yeah, it doesn't look like it. So I'll just keep grinding away, keeping my fitness up, and hopefully something happens in the next
I don't think
season.
you're right. You go back, Billy. Even just to train to what's happened. I think you should.
It was just because obviously I live in Sheffield
Wednesday.
Sheffield Wednesday, yeah. Well, I'll go in and train. Yeah,
if you're not going to play for him, you know what I mean. You've no real ties, like you mean, and then you got. If you're going to let you go back in training, it's going to create press speculation. It's going to create all that.
Yeah, but I could put that to bed straight away. I'm here to train and nothing.
Yeah, but
forward.
The press won't make it out like that, though, will they? The fans won't make it out like that. So
right,
I can
as soon as they
understand
don't score, the fans.
I can understand him saying, "Look, you know, it's not the right thing."
Yeah.
The fans would be calling for you the second they go
Of course
through a drought
They'll be
patch.
singing like, you know.
Yeah. So, but I'm reading between the lines as well. You still want to play, like
Definitely.
So, what is the situation? We've not got on to talking about LA Galaxy yet, but what is the? So you've left, but are you still under contract? What is your situation?
So I signed a deal until the 31st of December, and I'd already agreed terms for next. It was a club option, which means nothing to a player. They can just say you're going to get this, which I signed. Yeah, I'm happy with, but then tell you that they're not going to take it up. So
Who are negotiating that?
Sorry?
Who are negotiating?
Yeah, what I should have done is 5 goals. I get the 12 months.
Yeah, that's it. Slipped up there.
Yeah, so that didn't happen. So I won't be going back to LA
Sorry
Galaxy.
for making you feel.
No. I was just thinking about something I could say, but I can't. 'Cause I'm still in contract, so
yeah, sure.
Need to be careful. So yeah, on the 1st of December, my contract goes to every other MLS team. This is what I'm still understanding.
The system works, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I'm actually an MLS. I'm the league's player.
Yes.
So it can go. My contract will go out to the rest of the teams, and they can then approach me if you like. Even though they can approach me now if they want, it's fine. And then if someone else in the MLS wanted to take me, then I know that it'd be, that contract. But they can also
turn it down.
I can turn it down, but they can also say we want to offer you something, but it's not going to be that. That's just I don't know. It's just a piece of paper.
It's weird their way of working.
Yeah. So it's so the league know what.
So would you go back if somebody else comes in then?
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, I would.
Depends where though.
But depends where and depends. That's the tough part about football. You never know where you're going to be when you're out of contract anyway.
Yeah.
Where you're going to be, and I'm weighing up all options. I could sign for someone right now if I wanted to. But something's telling me, hang on a little bit because, I want all my options on the table so I can figure out the best for myself, for my family. But yeah, I definitely want to play on. Still hungry to score goals and do well and help someone out whenever that is. Hopefully in the next few weeks.
Well, I'm sure with your goal scoring record, I can't envisage nobody coming in this country coming to say, especially if they're on the verge of doing okay or in the right position in the league, but they're just short of goals.
You must be getting
the key element
be going non-stop.
I've had a lot of interest. Yeah,
the turning point on whether they get promoted or not with the goals you could produce in between January and the end of the season. I remember signing Vazte at West Ham from Barnsley, and everybody going, "Who the hell's this?" Well, I had Vaz.
That was the year that I went up with Southampton.
Yeah.
You got one up in the playoffs. Yeah?
That's right. Yeah. So he came and scored 12.
Scored in the final, didn't he?
Yeah, scored the winner in the final. Cost us $500,000. You know what I mean? So you being a goal scorer is the prime target for any manager or any coach looking in January, going, "Come here, will you?"
That's something I want to do as well. Yeah. Right now, I want to be a player, but I've got my UEFA B, UEFA A. Love to be a manager one day. Following Big Sam's steps. And
you've got to go to the diploma on the management course then.
Yeah.
At the LMA. So that's probably the best course to be a manager now. For me, it's a bit too. I'm a committee member of the LMA. It's a bit too academic now for me. It's a great course, but we've all gone academic stupid, haven't we? It's not. It relates to football, but doesn't relate to football. The ins and outs of football.
That's because you've had how many years of experience?
Yes, that's true. You know what I mean? And I did courses, FA courses, and badge course, full badge courses, I did management courses, and did all of those. And they're a great tool to help. But the good thing is, does it give you the opportunity when you sit behind a desk when you become the coach or the manager? Yes. But it is a bit like passing your driving test.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same.
You get on with it.
You've got to do it.
You got to go your own way.
You've got to do it to have the qualifications.
Yeah, you have. Yeah.
And then the first one, you need the opportunity, and then
so that's
the experience now that he's got. Yeah, it's like your driving test. You don't sit there now at 10 to 2 with you like you got told.
Please excuse me, I just want to stop this episode quickly because Big Sam and I just want to say a huge thank you to you for supporting No Tippy Tappy Football, whether you are listening or watching or doing both. Sam and I absolutely love doing this podcast and we couldn't do it without you. So take a second, please, and subscribe or follow wherever you are watching or listening to us. We're also on Twitter, No Tippy Tappy Football, and we have our own YouTube channel. I know everybody says it, but it really would mean a lot to us, and it means that we can keep getting bigger and better guests the more followers and the more subscribers we have. And then you can go and tell all your mates that you've done Big Sam a favour. So thank you for listening.
Sure, there's 8 championship managers who are under 40 at the minute. And I think there's 15, maybe more, in the Football League who are under 40 as well. So I think it is changing. Because like Sam's just said,
it's changing,
Chris Wilder said the same thing to me. He used to be a manager of a pub, what's now a Sainsbury's, as one of his first jobs.
Yeah.
And then he did the rounds and he worked his way. And
exactly the same, yeah.
7 years later.
All 4 divisions.
Yeah, he's had the best times of his manager and he's been managing in the Premier League. And he'll say the same about these FA courses.
But a presentation gets you the job now. So if you haven't got one, get one. So
yeah.
you know,
PowerPoint courses, really.
I mean, I don't do. People know me now. I put my presentations away a long time ago, but I'd put the laptop up. Presentations, click ages ago, like you mean, which is massively impressive. But it I shouldn't probably say this, but it's the way you get the job, and then you go and do the job the way you want to. But in presentation, you know, you find out about the club, you find out about who the owners are, you find out about what makes them tick. You go into a meeting with those people, and often you don't meet the owners now.
Yeah. Often
you're meeting other employees.
Yeah.
Who want you to come and help them stay in their job, like you mean. So that presentation, is extremely important now, because I'm hearing from other managers like Chris and people like that who haven't got, who are relying on their career, what experiences they've got, like you mean, you know. So I mean, I find it quite sad that a presentation gets you a job. Really, really, really sad. Really, really sad. How good are the...
Especially if you're rubbish.
To be fair, though, someone who's trying to get the first time opportunity...
But how good are the people... how good are the people interviewing you if a presentation gets you the job and they haven't got the nous or the experience to sit down? The whole thing about having an interview is looking people in the eye and listening to what they say and what they're not. Go click, 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 click.
I've got a scenario, Sam. I want to
Go
ask
on.
Billy. Right. Paul Heckingbottom's under pressure. Let's say Paul Heckingbottom gets the sack. Let's say Sheffield United appoint. Let's say Chris Wilder, but it could be anybody that you know. And then you get a call in January that says, "Come to Sheffield United and be my assistant."
Player assistant, it should be.
Yes, but not play.
Still need a goal.
Listen, I've said,
take it with no play.
I've said, I'll do anything for Sheffield United. Whenever they need me, whatever they want me to do, I'll do it. That's just because it's in here. But my playing days Sheffield United, I know, are done. So, but I still want to play on. So that would be somewhere else. If for whatever reason someone did say that, then yeah, more than happy to.
You'd stop playing to go.
No.
You know what?
No.
A lot of people say you're a long time retired.
Don't stop playing. Don't.
I don't want to stop playing right now.
Don't.
But I'm not stupid.
Has to be a hell of a job then if you don't.
Yeah, no, it does.
Playing. But I tell you what, man.
I'm still enjoying it. Still enjoying playing. Exactly.
You wake up Saturday morning and you haven't got the adrenaline rush, and you're not going to put your boots on and run out there. And it, I mean, I've stayed in football. I mean, when I finished, I got a coach's job or youth team coach or whatever it is. Like I mean, and that was hard enough adjusting with that. At least I was still in football.
So your phone's ringing. You're not going to tell us any clubs that are speaking. I know that because you can't. But who's coming in? Are you getting championship clubs or are you getting cheeky offers further down? What are you thinking? Where do you want to go back in?
Championship all-time top scorer. And I can still score goals in the championship 100%. I want to play as high as I can.
But you want to play.
But I want to play.
But you want to play.
I do want to play. And that taught me that... I'd have stayed at Sheffield United and I'd have sat on the bench and I'd have played 1 minute. And if I'd have helped 1 minute and we'd have stayed up, I'd have been happy. But going to Galaxy made me realise that I still can play, still can score. And I want to carry on doing that. And I've had League 2, League 1, Championship, Scotland, hopefully some American teams. And I'll have to sit down and weigh up my options and pick one where I think I'm going to enjoy the most because, like Sam says, I still need to play on, and whatever I'm enjoying it, I'm going to do that.
We'll very much look forward to January and seeing where you go. We haven't had a chance yet to talk about LA Galaxy, and I'd love to because the MLS is growing. Obviously, there's so much interest in it with what's gone on this season in the MLS. What is the MLS like to play in? Could you try and describe it? I think for me, the most basic way you could do it for me would be, where would you compare it in England in terms of the standard?
It's tough because there's some really good players. First day of training, obviously Douglas Costa's there, played Champions League football. Yeah. Still so powerful, direct, fast. It's just how many times can you replicate that each week? Maybe that's why he's not in the Champions League anymore. But quality was, so good. And players you play against, you're like, wow, he could probably play in the Premier League. Sam would be able to probably tell us better if they could or not. Other sides of the game, there's a lot of good players. Can they do the other side of the game when they haven't got the ball? Some of the defending was very poor. And some of the experiences were brilliant though. Away trips, traveling on a plane, 3-4 hours, time differences, weather changes, all experiences that I really enjoyed and handled pretty well. One occasion in Austin, we should have kicked off at 8 o'clock at night. We'd warmed up, we'd got in the in a tunnel, and the lightning struck. Half an hour delay.
Yeah.
Back in, what do we do now? We have to wait half an hour. If there's no strike, then we're back out. Another half an hour. This went on for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I'm texting my mates who were back in England who woke up for the game. It's now getting 6 a.m. at home. Right, why ain't you kicked off yet? Sending a picture in my full kit. Ain't kicked off yet, blah, blah, blah. Rain's coming down. We're going, there's no way is this game going ahead. I think it was 3 hours, 10 minutes later, maybe longer. Anyway, we kicked off. We ended up finishing around 1:45 a.m, I think it was. If I ever come to that experience again, I'd shower, get changed, back into my stuff, and like try and prepare for the game again. Because you'd had all these energy drinks, gels, whatever else. You got together, you got right to your peak of the adrenaline. Come on now, we're going out. And then you're on your phone, playing cards, doing kick-ups. You just took it all out, yeah. You then should be in bed. Then you should be eating again. Same for both teams, by the way. Probably why it ended up 3-3. 3-1 down with 2 minutes to go.
The fans needed that to stay awake, by the way.
Well, this is the thing. It was a great atmosphere.
Did the fans stay all that time?
Brand new stadium.
They loved it. Who was the team?
Austin. So they were a new team. So the fans are really behind them and stuff. And a lot went, obviously, because of the time. All the kids had to go. The weather's killed it and the hardcores stayed. So that killed the game a little bit. Bear in mind, it was 40 degrees at the time when we should have kicked off. So that's the only positive what happened. It was a little bit cooler. But the whole experience, the lifestyle, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to do because I'm quite a homely person and from Sheffield, and it opened my eyes to a lot of things, and the experience for my two boys was great as well. Yeah, so going back to what you said, I reckon there's Premier League talent there.
I forgot I asked that.
Yeah.
Probably going to get a bit of stick for this. Plenty of League Two defending there. Yeah, just some of the things that happened, like Sam just said, the build-up's a lot slower, but the game is quick. There's a lot of athletic, defenders there, but I think they're better on the ball, and you can catch them out, and they switch off quite a bit. But like I said, I ain't got a bad word to say about the MLS. It was really enjoyable experience, and yeah, I'd be open to playing there again, definitely. And obviously, I'd like to say that Messi followed me, but no, it's a great time for the MLS. Obviously, with Lionel Messi going there as well, so I'm sure a lot more people. Well, there is a lot more English people there who I actually didn't know was in the MLS until I joined, and I can see why they want to go there. And I had a chance to go about 3-4 years ago when Chris was trying to bring in players to replace me at Sheffield United, but it was my choice to leave Sheffield United then, and I didn't want to do that, so I didn't end up going. But this one came out of the blue, and enjoyed it. Loved my time there.
Your time in LA, did you see was there movie stars just walking around? Did they come to the games?
I don't know if they came to our games. They will have been. I wouldn't recognise them. But where we lived in Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, Redondo Beach is
What a shame.
three unbelievable places. Everyone's so friendly.
Yeah.
I didn't have my flip-flop shorts and t-shirt off for 4 months. But yeah, I think it must have been. But I think they all live in downtown LA, which wasn't for me. I liked the more chilled out lifestyle. But yeah, it was great way to live for while it lasted.
We're seeing a lot of Hollywood stars come and watch English football now. Obviously, there's quite a few different connections. The big one, obviously, being Wrexham. That was fun last year, wasn't it?
Yep.
For anybody that doesn't remember you and Wrexham, could you refresh us?
Just going back, one of the first things I seen when I came out of the airport was a big Wrexham billboard in LA. And I was like, oh my God, is this a wind-up?
I can't get away.
No, listen, I think it's been blown well out of proportion. Like, it was an FA Cup tie at their gaff and then back to ours. And I'm a winner and I wanted to win. And there were a few things said. And we won the game and ended up getting to the semi-finals of the FA Cup. It meant a lot to me. And there were a few things said that upset a few people. But what happened after the game is we won and my family sit right next to the away fans, which they sit there all the time. I don't know why they did, but I always go over, win, lose or draw, wave to my kids, clap our fans above where the away fans are. Wrexham fans are throwing things, blah, 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 which everyone knows. I can take the stick and I give things back. It's part of football. It's what I love about football. Without the fans, it's nothing. And we saw that in COVID. And the fans are throwing things, abusing me, whatever. And but they thought I was coming over to obviously give them stick, but they don't know that the family were there. So I wave in, but also clapping our fans. And I did this. Just to say,
unlucky.
For our podcast,
I could have done something. I could have done something a lot worse. What got me into trouble, but it was a little bit of friendly banter. I did this. The manager, Parkinson, who, I know him, and I've had a few run-ins with him before. He tried.
He always seemed a bit.
So I've took a throw-in once for Leeds United against Bradford, and I picked the ball up. And as I'm going to pick the ball, he volleyed the ball, but hit my hand. So I pushed him and. For some reason I got booked and he didn't that time. So that was the first little one, which no one knows about.
History.
Yeah, history. Then we had a little battle against Bolton, Sheffield United to get out of League One, and we did them. We were the champions out of there, and they got promoted, which great. But just had these little rivalries and battles. I've got nothing against him. We just don't seem to get on. He doesn't like me. I'm not that bothered about him. And a few of his. That game, when I've done that, he saw me do that. He's clapping his fans. Yeah, fair, he can do that. He came over and he started grabbing me and I was like, what are you doing? My parents, my family, my kids are all there. I'm having a bit of banter with your fans. Then a few of their players came over. It boiled over. My emotions were high. Their emotions were high. We turned left to home dressing room. They go straight on and then left to the away dressing room at Bram Lane. Loads of cameras, which I was going straight on because I scored the winner and I think I got man of the match. I did an interview, which I shouldn't have probably done. I should have gone to change room, calm down, then did it. They were pushing me out of the way and I'm going to do the interview. Yeah, usually I'd be going left. So then I had to, basically, this cameraman was then trying to pan around to their players for the documentary. And he got in my way a little bit. I pushed him. So then it boiled over a little bit more. Then a few of our lads started getting involved. It's just handbags, football handbags. Yeah, it was great.
It's great.
And
it's great.
And they got the face on. All right. And they saying we should beat them. We're the higher team. Blah blah blah. Doesn't always work like that. We saw that in the FA Cup. They got a replay. They were obviously still doing really well now. Their fans got a lot against me. But I don't know. It was good TV. I've heard. I've not watched it.
And that was in the documentary, was it?
Yeah, and I said, stick that in your documentary. Stick that in your documentary's arse. And guess what?
Get paid for it.
Oh, guess what? I didn't get paid for it. They put it in the documentary and,
highlight.
Should have wrote to them and said you didn't have permission to put me in.
Yeah, no, to be honest, it says when you come into Bramall Lane, there is filming today, blah, blah, blah. So I think they're fine. I'll have to check it.
Right. What if Ryan Reynolds phones you up?
So he said, apparently he said, something about me. I can't repeat what he said, but I'm like, I even got under his skin as well. And I'm like, they was the ones who were saying rent free in your head. And I'm like, no, not at all. It was an FA Cup tie, high emotions, and we luckily came out on top that day. And I was the lucky one to score the winner. But nothing against Wrexham or the supporters.
But in football terms, Wrexham, it's a great. It's a great show about how you can turn a football club around with two film stars in it and put
Well, they're doing well,
the
though, as
mind
well,
to it.
so-
But it's the money they're generating for the club, out of their fame
Yeah.
and out of their social media activity and about building up the followers to that. And Wrexham's full every week, tickets are sold out
every week.
But the main revenue's coming through the social media because of how many followers are. It's just brilliant, and the club can benefit from that. I think they've just bought the stadium back.
Yeah, and they're redeveloping it. I was there for this. Wrexham played Salford. Salford were 2-1 up with 5 minutes to go, and Wrexham won 3-2 because there was an air in the atmosphere. There was an air in the stadium. We're going to win. We're going to score. So Phil Parker, you and Phil Parkinson don't get on. The Wrexham fans and you don't get on.
He did ring me.
Oh, okay, right. What did he? No,
I'm only joking.
Right, okay, okay. I was like, whoa, scoop. Okay.
Wrexham are doing really well. Fair play to them, and yeah.
But if he phones you and says,
see what I
come
said.
down, and
I don't hold grudges.
Would you? So you'd play for Wrexham?
If that was one of my better options, then yeah, why not?
Okay. I wasn't expecting that.
He scored a couple of goals when he first get there. The fans will soon
exactly.
Exactly. Gone that will. That little.
And that's a story for the documentary, isn't it?
Listen, when I play for a team, Sam will say this to his players every single week. Other managers said it to me. It's your dressing room versus the rest. You do whatever you can to win that game.
Yeah.
And if it's to get under people's skin,
yeah,
you do it.
Yeah.
So that's just what happened that day. And listen, it was for Sheffield United. I was the captain, and it was the FA Cup. It was a big, big day, and we were set up, to get beat for their documentary.
Yeah.
And yeah,
you spoilt it for him.
Spoilt it, yeah. So we were the bad guys, and I was the bad guy.
I was a Sheffield United.
You've got to be expected to win, though, because you're Sheffield United, not Wrexham, though, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They got to be carried away.
No.
You know what I mean, didn't they? So, but, yeah.
I'm having such a good time. This is so much fun. I want to move on, though, and talk about some things that are going on in the world of football right now, as we always do. But let's stick with Sheffield United at the minute. So, rumours about Paul Heckingbottom, obviously, Sam, due to where they are. Are they harsh, or do you think about the future?
Always. I mean, the sad thing is the sad thing is in your position, you can only deal with the talent that you've got. And if the talent isn't good enough, you try your best to get as much out of that talent as you possibly can against the odds. And they're battling against the odds week in and week out every time they go out and play a Premier League game because they haven't improved the squad enough for the manager to be successful. He's not become a worse coach overnight. It's taken Sheffield United up. He's got them at the top of the league with limited finances. I presume they won a lot of money again, even last season. At Sheffield United, he's got them back in the Premier League. He's not a bad coach. He's a great coach. He's a good coach. He's good enough to be there, but the players he's dealing with are not good enough to cope with the standard of the Premier League at the moment. And the manager always falls foul for that. So I always talk about what happens in football now and how unreliable your position is even start the season too well and give the club too much too soon can backfire if you've had a bad back half of the season. You're better off. You're almost better off starting bad and finishing strong, and then everybody forgets it. And we're looking forward to next season.
Sheffield United finished out of the relegation on the last kick of the game.
Yes,
well, you're heroes. We're all heroes, aren't we? So it's a strange world you have to live in. I mean, but to pay the price of moving you on, and to the club actually looking at you and say you're not good enough now. And the fans start saying he's not good enough. Let's get a more high-profile manager in. Is an absolute nonsense. Give him the tools so he can deal with it. Then, if you don't deal with it, yes, give me the money and then I'll hold my hands up. Yeah, that's my fault. Then I helped bring the players in. We spent the money. These players are not good enough. You're going to get rid of me. Okay, but when you haven't given the money and the tools and the players are not good enough when you set off. Then every team has to improve massively when they get promoted from the Championship. Burnley have tried to do it. They brought in a lot of players, but they haven't managed to do it. You know what I mean? So they're struggling. Luton are the same. So for the first time for a long time, these three clubs have spent less than any other promoted team, I think, for probably the last 10 years.
It is seriously tasty down the bottom. I mean, it is really tight. And the Everton points deduction has just thrown them into the this pile as well. I am in no way any sort of football legal expert, but what did you make when you heard about the Everton 10-point?
I don't know the ins and outs, but for whatever reason, they've been deducted the points. It's dragged them into the bottom three. I still think they're far too strong for.
They'll sort it out.
Yeah, they'll get out and get away. The squad, like you say, you look at the squad on paper, it's a hell of a lot better than the three that we've just talked about. That's no disrespect to any of the three that we are talking about. They're battling away, and I think them three teams, Luton, Burnley, Sheffield United, knew that they'd be down there. It's just about staying within touching distance, and like you say,
psychologically, it's happened at a good time for Everton.
Yeah,
because if it happened at the start of the season and they were starting -10, would have been psychologically for the player, the manager, and everybody at the club, the fans, would have been massive to overcome. Now you're in the bottom four. In fact, you're not bottom; you're second from bottom. So I know it's only on goal difference, but so and the way they're playing now, they're in the best form now they've been all season. The players are proving that they're more than capable to go win matches at home and away. And I think that their squad is far too strong as long as they keep Calvert-Lewin fit and scoring goals. Because, whatever they're saying about him now, he's come back and he started scoring goals. So he's got Everton's goal ratio up already, like I mean. So I think they'll be fine. And the experience of the Everton players, the Premier League experience they've got, will stand them in good stead. And, of course, the manager. Manager's Old Trafford ducks back. He can handle it. You know what I mean? He can handle the pressure. He's proven that he can do that for years and years and years, like I mean. So, another one that don't get the credit he deserves, because everybody's forgot he got Burnley into Europe. Not so long ago. Imagine that, Burnley into Europe. It's probably a better achievement getting Burnley into Europe than me getting Bolton into Europe at the time I did. I mean, two similar clubs, like, didn't spend a lot of money, but actually got overachieved. So.
Have you spoken to him at all since? Do you have a relationship like that
Sean?
with Sean? Yeah.
Every time I bumped into him, we talk. You know what I mean? And he was scratching around for players in the summer, like I mean, because obviously the financial fair play meant all that money that used to be available at Everton is no longer available. Like I mean, the club's up for sale, so he's much bigger problems in terms of what the players are thinking. Who's going to own the club? What's going to happen? Where's the money coming from? Like I mean, that wasn't the case when I was there. It was just about making sure we get out the trouble we were in then and get the club moving forward in the right direction. Like I mean, now it's a much bigger look at saying where's it going and what's going to happen. It's a big worry for Manchester City.
Yeah.
You mentioned Calvert-Lewin then. You played with him at Sheffield?
Yeah, short time, yeah. He was out on loan with Northampton, I think, at the time, and then he came back and played with him for a little bit. Got some unbelievable attributes. His leap in the air to get on the end of crosses is a big thing for him, and Everton can get the crosses in the box, so keeping him fit is going to be important. I think it's been his problem the last 2 seasons, staying fit. But yeah, he's got the pace, he's got the attributes to play in the Premier League, and obviously when he is fit, he can score goals. He's showed that, and that's what Everton are going to need to just get out the bottom 3 now. To, like Sam was touching on earlier, you've got to try and be tight at the back, and if you can, Calvert-Lewin wins you the game, and I think Everton have got enough to do that.
If he stays fit, if he keeps scoring goals, is he in a shout for England, do you think, for the summer?
I think he's a long way off. I think staying fit would have to be that he rarely misses a game between now and the end of this season to put himself in that line, and how many goals he'd get into. He'll need to get in the double figures areas, into 15, possibly 20 goals, and compete with the rest of the England forwards that might well coming behind Harry Kane. Like I mean,
Who would you put as the best option
it's always
after Harry Kane?
well, if he's fit, it's always been Wilson for me. Even though Ollie Watkins has learned, it's a bit like Dominic. Ollie's learned how to score. And Dominic's learned how to score. They're not naturally goal scorers like you.
Ollie Watkins again is pace, movement in behind. He's found a club that suits him as well. I know he did well at Brentford, but he's gone to Aston Villa and he's improved his goal scoring record and his game each season he's been in there. And yeah, I think Ollie Watkins, while Wilson is out, is second to Harry Kane. But I agree with Sam. Wilson's scored goals now in the Premier League for regular. So
I watched Ian Wright on the Match of the Day. I can't remember whether it's Match of the Day or whatever it was about. How the coach must have stopped him running out wide all the time.
Who's this?
At Aston Villa.
Ollie Watkins.
Ollie.
Yeah, he's playing more central.
And saying he's staying within the 18-yard box area and he's not ending up down the left and down the right again. And he pointed this out, and perhaps this is the reason that the coach has changed him, and this is why he's scoring the goals. He's scoring out. Stop running out there, stop running out here. Like I mean, off the ball, and his work rate has always been absolutely tremendous. So maybe Emery's looked at that and gone like, yeah, but we want you to score goals, so have a go at reducing the areas you need to work in and work in these areas to get better opportunity and chances to score goals, and that seems to be working for him. Like I mean.
What did you make about Gareth Southgate taking him off? Were they 1-0 down at the time? I feel like they were 1-0 down to Macedonia and he took him off.
Yeah, and they scored from the corner and it looked like Harry Kane scored and he just come on, but he didn't actually. Harry got across it, but it came off the defender, didn't it? Like I mean, it went in. But I mean,
it might have been planned 45 minutes.
No, well, I think he needed to. But he's 1-0 down. It's not going to go down well if he loses to Macedonia. No. So he puts his best goal scoring player on to relieve him of the situation. I mean, Gareth would be massive. He would be disappointed if it was only a draw, but he would be massive relieved at the end of the game that it was only a draw. That it was a draw and not a defeat, because you know what happens when you're England manager. All hell had come down on him. Like, I mean, what, he can't beat Macedonia? What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's all going wrong. It's never going to... all that white noise again. It's just, honestly, it's tiring what they do. Well, it's just... You can't. I don't think they can win. It's barely.
The whole country wants
a
certain team, and they can't agree with the manager. So,
gosh.
Well, the international break's done for a bit. We don't need to worry about it.
Tiresome though, Natalie. It's tiresome.
Yeah.
What what's coming? Oh God, here we go again. The old nuggets are at it again. Ones who really pretend to know more about football than we do. Oh my God, shut up. Get on with it. Leave him. They haven't lost a game, for goodness sake. They just lost in the final. They got the semi-final last time. Got the best squad. Just leave it, for goodness sake. Give them the praise they deserve. There you go. I've had my rant.
12:30 Saturday, the Premier League is back with Manchester City versus Liverpool. What a game to start the after the international break.
Popcorn will be out.
That early? 12.
They've been, over the last 5-6 years, they've been unbelievably tasty games. Obviously, Liverpool had a drop-off last season, but they're looking cracking again this year. So I've got one nice, easy question for you both. Dead easy. What does a City-Liverpool combined 11 look like?
In the team?
Yeah.
It's more City than Liverpool. I'd say 3 Liverpool against Man City.
Okay.
I've got Robinson in left back.
Oh, Andy Robertson?
Yeah, Salah.
Okay.
Salah,
Van Dijk.
But if you put it, and I think Van Dijk's an incredible player, which of the City centre-backs are you taking out?
I'm going to go with Stones at the side of Van Dijk. So
no Ruben Diaz. Stones, is he fit again? Hopefully
well, we're talking about if everyone's fit, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Hopefully back soon, Sam. I don't think they've actually said when he's back, but I'm hoping. But if he's fit, he's phenomenal, right?
Yeah. Diaz is phenomenal as well, so might have to play 3 at the back.
You're not going to drop Kyle Walker, are you? So being a Sheffield lad. Come on.
No. Kyle's going to get in, definitely. Still, there's talks of him leaving City, and I spoke to him after the semi-final at Wembley, and he was saying, "Yeah, I may be going, but signed a new contract." And
Who said that?
Kyle Walker.
well, so
I remember seeing that on YouTube, innit, where he's going in front of all the players. He's staying. Did you see that?
Oh, he's he got the
that
new
film
contract.
or something like it.
Yeah,
Wall
Street.
that was
Wall
good.
Street. Am I going? Am I going? Are you going? No, I'm staying. Like
He's got a cracking personality.
he is, isn't he? Yeah. He's got quicker.
I used to.
Where's he get that?
I know.
His rockets have got quicker. He's like.
He used to clean my boots, and he used to be a striker.
No, he didn't.
He used to be a striker, and then he went centre half.
Right.
He played centre half against Hull in the FA Cup, and it was good. And then he went to we're a pre-season trip in Malta, and him and Kyle Norton, for some weird reason, they were rooming together, and they got the best room out of everyone. We was like, "What's going on? Are you two young lads? How have
Did
you got
they
this?"
both go to Tottenham together?
Yep. So
Yeah.
we threw them out of this room, and next day, both went to Tottenham. I bet they were just laughing at us, thinking, "Throw us out of the room," but we're off to Tottenham.
I'd have Diaz in
Oh no, it's so hard. This
for Liverpool. Why can't Jack Grealish get a game? Oh my God!
He can get a game. He started in the derby.
Did he?
Yeah.
I think he does
Not
this
as often
just
as
to
he likes, though, is it?
keep him
No.
on the toes. He did that with a lot of players. Obviously,
Depends whether it suits you, though.
I know, but to be honest, Grealish he was playing and wasn't really doing it, and then he came into his own and he was doing it, and then now people are saying, "Why is he not playing?" And
Well, it's because of Doku.
okay, well, and he scored. What did he score? 4 assists.
Doku, 4 assists and a goal.
And a goal.
Yeah.
Like,
So I mean,
So
that's
exciting.
whether you can handle it or not.
I love Jack though.
Yeah, you can love him, but it's whether Jack can handle it.
yeah, no, I agree. Yeah,
I mean, if you can't handle it, it's a massive problem. Like, I mean, so you've got to look at your players and say, some players just can't handle not being in the team, so you have to either let them go.
Yeah.
They
That's what happened with Sané.
They just can't cope with being squad
Leroy
players.
Sané.
So I think that's why he let Raheem Sterling go.
That's why Cole Palmer's gone, I think.
Yeah,
Because he wanted more game time, and he's
Yeah.
gone, and he's playing every week for Chelsea, and that's what he wanted.
Yeah.
He couldn't get that at City, so
so it's a difficult job Pep has again handling all that talent.
And
Isn't it?
that talent makes me think of James McAtee again with the Sheffield United connection because he's very highly thought of at City.
Yep.
What did you make of him last season?
yeah, breath of fresh air. He came in, struggled a little bit first few games, off the ball, but on the ball, yeah, unbelievable talent. Giving the ball with someone tight up against him, and he'll
He'll have to change that, though.
find a way out. No, he's changed that, and
He has to change that off the ball.
that's probably why he won't get a chance at the City right now, because he's got a lot to learn still, but he's got unbelievable talent, and I think he went to Sheffield United because his heart took over his head, and it was a Premier League rather than Leicester. But yeah, he's a good player, and like you say, City have got unbelievable talent all over the pitch, so he might have to wait a couple of years, just like Tommy Doyle, who's gone to Wolves as well, to progress his career.
So City versus Liverpool. Before we go on to the quick fire questions, something just popped in my head. I remember I wanted to ask you about this before we came on, Sam, but I'm going to have to ask you now. You were at Old Trafford, sat next to Alex Ferguson.
Oh, you're not going to bring that up. I've got that. I yawned.
It was all over social
I didn't put my
media.
hand over my mouth. I got the biggest telling off my wife I've ever had in my life. You again, what were you doing? I mean, I said, I don't know. What did I do? You yawned and the cameras went click, 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 click. Oh, my God. Oh, no.
Should have just said you did it on purpose.
No.
If you'd have done this, though,
right next to Alex.
if you'd have done that, you'd have got caught for
You know what I mean? So-
saying some, what's his...
Yeah,
You know
what
what I
she's
mean?
saying.
So,
Was it a
anyway.
bad game? I forget which game it was.
It was a poor game, yeah. They won 1-0 in the end, but they'd really struggled all game. Man United,
It's a good job it weren't the City-Chelsea one.
were good.
Yeah,
You're yawning.
definitely. Oh, it did make me laugh, Sam, because you know that's going to be a meme now for the next 10 years.
I've got to get a few memes like me.
Yeah.
So.
You love the memes. Right, we've got some quick fire questions now. We always finish on these,
Okay.
Billy. They don't need to be yes or no's.
Okay.
So,
They're never quick
Yeah.
fire, Billy.
Yeah, I know, I've seen a few
They're never
episodes.
quick fire, so go on.
I don't know why we still try and say that. Your Twitter bio reads, "I'm just that fat lad from Sheffield." Could you tell us the story behind that?
Yeah, it's not a quick story, but
Oh, well.
Let's sit back then.
Yes.
no, I was at Doncaster at the time. Kit man again, great guy, Mud.
Mud.
I actually don't know why he's called Mud. I'll have to find that out. But the manager, Sean O'Driscoll, don't know if you ever played us when we were at Doncaster, but we used to call it the Donny Dream. Try and get in the playoffs. That was the Donny Dream. Played some great stuff. And if we played great stuff, and sometimes we'd win 2-0 and it'd be all hunky-dory, but sometimes we'd play really well and get beat 2-0 because the other team would just take their chances or whatever. And it'd be frustrating in the dressing room afterwards because we get clapped off. The manager would go, excellent, brilliant, played really well, unlucky. And I'm like,
Oh, God.
come on, like,
No.
we weren't ruthless enough in both boxes, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Even though Sean Driscoll, great guy, he did brilliant for me, worked on my game and training was great coach. And there was one game, I think we did play actually really well and I should have probably scored, but we lost 3-0 and he came in and said it and I lost my head, said something to one of the players. We had a bit of an argument. He told me to sit down and shut up. He says, when you're on your game, you're doing really well for the team, blah, blah, blah. When you're like this, you're just a fat lad from Sheffield. which made me laugh. So then, yeah, so a few of the lads are laughing. And you know what? It was a good bit of management.
Yeah,
It sort of cut everything and go and get a shower. We'll work on them things and go again next week. I think he just knew our limits as a team and he knew that playoffs maybe was one step too far with what we had. Even though we had likes of Johnny Oster, who was one of the better players who still to this day could find me. Some of his talent was great. And we had some players who, Neil Sullivan in the net, showing how old I am now.
Wow, yeah.
We had a lot of experience in there and I was learning off them guys and I wanted to be a leader as well. So I was just coming a bit more outspoken and the manager just wanted to shut me up, I think. And so then we had Sheffield United.
You like speaking of, don't you?
Yeah. Sheffield United.
I've gathered that of you.
Sheffield United the next game.
Oh, okay.
And at Keepmoat, and I wanted to do really well because they I'd gone there on loan and then I'd signed for Doncaster, and even though I support Sheffield United, I wanted to score goals for Doncaster and do well against my ex-team, and I managed to score, didn't celebrate, but the kit man had done it off his own back. Fat lad from Sheffield on a Under Armour. Which again, I came in that day, was like, who's done this? Obviously Mud did it and we had a laugh about it, and the managers found it funny as well, which sort of helped because I didn't know whether he was still mad at me or whatever, and he wasn't, but I scored and revealed this shirt and it's stuck ever since. And to be honest, I've never really been fat. It's just a myth, if
Banter,
you like.
isn't it?
Yeah, a bit of banter from the manager,
It's
which
not
was
enough
good.
of that now, is it? You know what I mean?
Okay, I love that story.
Yeah.
I didn't know
That was a quick answer. wasn't
Yes, that was as predicted. This section going. Okay, this is going to be a quick one.
Okay.
Who has a better chance of winning the Champions League within the next 5 years, PSG or Newcastle?
We've been saying PSG for the last 5 years.
Newcastle for me, because they've got bigger spending power than PSG seem to have eased off, and they're going to lose Mbappe, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they'll replace him. But I'll still go PSG. I think they'll still, yeah. Even though I've got a soft spot for Newcastle because of Alan Shearer. So back in the day when I was growing up, Alan Shearer was someone I watched and it was a hero of mine. So I used to watch Newcastle quite a lot. So yeah, I'd like it to be Newcastle rather than PSG, but probably go PSG.
Okay. Is there a contract big enough in the whole world that would make Billy Sharp sign for Sheffield Wednesday?
I could have signed twice already, and it wasn't big enough. No, I think them 2 times it wasn't the right time. I've learned over the years as I've got older. I've respected them more as a club. It's a big club, 2 big clubs in Sheffield, great city. I've grew up to dislike Sheffield Wednesday and not to play for them. But I'm out of contract, so it's close to home. I can score goals. Who knows? I'm open to anything. I want to play. I'm keeping my options open. I want to play football. Again, my wife would go mental at me for that one, but yeah, it's football. It'd be quite controversial, but I want to play football and score goals at the highest I can possibly play. So we'll see.
Oh, I hope there's clubs watching this, we might end up taking a commission, if you get like a big move with someone that didn't expect it, that you would go there, Billy. This is great. Okay.
My phone is going off quite a lot.
Yeah.
So.
It's going off more than Sam's does in March. 2 questions left. What's your take on, because you mentioned Aaron Ramsdale before, played with him. What's your take on the Aaron Ramsdale situation this
His
season?
dad.
With his with his dad, with Mikel Arteta. What do you make of it?
Clive, yeah. No, I know his dad well. Know Aaron really well. He's a great lad. Good keeper. I think he's been done over at Arsenal. I don't know the ins and outs. But yeah, something's obviously gone off, or Arteta's not having him for something because he wouldn't have done. If you bring a keeper in and Aaron stays the number 1 and he's there in case Aaron's form drops or whatever, then yeah. But he just came in, took over straight away. But I believe that the goalkeeping coach at Arsenal is the one who was at Brentford. I think he was the one who's maybe pushed the deal. And will Aaron be there in January? I don't know.
If that's the case, if you're true, then I'd be wanting away straight away.
I think his dad does. I think his dad wants him away.
Because if the goalkeeping coach, he used to be the Brentford one, and he's recommended that, he's never going to get back in.
No.
At all. And you can't sit there and do what he's done in his career and do what he's done for Arsenal.
Yeah, he wanted to become England number 1.
Yeah.
So he did well at Arsenal, and I think he was trying to push Jordan to try and get to that, but you're not going to be England number 1 if you're sat on the bench not playing for your team. So he'll want to possibly move in January, and he wants to be playing. He's an ambitious kid.
Well, he's never going to get back in the England squad ever again, is he?
If he doesn't.
If he doesn't get in the team.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because there's too many goalies playing every week in the Premier League for him to even challenge them.
Okay, last question for you today. Is there a club that you've nearly signed for in your career that maybe nobody knows about, that got close or?
Sheffield Wednesday one. We got close twice under Brian Laws when the ground was underwater. Dave Jones tried to sign me as well, but just didn't see the benefit of me going there. Celtic twice, which Neil Lennon were ringing me quite a lot. And
why didn't you go there?
So that my wife's Scottish as well. So
what?
Yeah, she's from Edinburgh though.
Same as me.
Yeah,
she sounds great.
Are you from Edinburgh?
Yes, born in Edinburgh. Yes.
Oh, right.
She's Musselburgh. Yeah. So
Anyway,
so Celtic. I was at Tea in the Park once, flying back from Tea in the Park, opened the paper, back page of the paper. It was sharp as a tick, and I was like, "Wow, didn't know it was that close." I could have signed then, but then the next time was in COVID, and I was thinking. Again, I was in Premier League with Sheffield United, and I spoke to Chris about it, and he was like, "Look, you're not playing at the minute. You can go. It's your call. Blah blah blah." But the big thing with me going to Celtic would be, the Celtic Rangers game, whatever, would be fans again, and great stadium, unbelievable club. But there was no fans, and that was the one, and I was leaving Sheffield United.
Well, how long was the contract?
I can't even remember. I must have had 2 years left for Sheffield United, and they must have offered me 2 years. I don't know.
There you go then.
Yeah, exactly. So he was ringing me while I was in London, and
winning every week.
I know. Maybe that's the one
play football to win. Like, I mean, you football to.
Maybe that's the one that I should have probably gone. But I think my heart took over again with Sheffield United. So the loyalty to Sheffield United.
Ooh.
Which
paid the price for that.
Paid the price.
Oh.
Yeah, no, Celtic was probably the one that people probably don't know about.
We've had Neil on this podcast as well. He didn't tell us that.
No,
did
he didn't. No.
He probably wouldn't if you'd have asked him, but
yeah,
it wasn't the topic at the time. I think that one's gone now. But if they're interested, I'm here. I'm ready. And they've got fans back in the stadium.
This is the Billy Sharp advert. He's available.
Come and get
everyone.
me. Yeah.
Thank you. You've
No
been
problem.
so honest. It's so refreshing.
Thanks for having
Even
me
if it's
on.
got you in trouble in the past, we very much appreciate your honesty.
That's the way I am, honest, and sometimes it does get you into trouble. But
Thank you.
things from.
Brilliant.
Thanks, Sam. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
as
Sam.
ever.
Thank you
very
as
much.
always. And thank you for joining us for another episode of No Tippy Tappy Football, brought to you by William Hill. We will be back every week now until there's another international winter Christmas break.